Just a question here. How many people drove here tonight? Okay, how many people came on a push bike? How many people walked? Okay, for those that walked, it probably doesn't apply. But for those that came in a car or on a bike, how many people locked it? How many people left it unlocked? So no one left it unlocked, everyone locked it. So one of the things that I do is I unhack or dehack WordPress websites that have been attacked, and I help people to secure their websites. If you install WordPress just out of the box, it's a bit like leaving your car in the middle of Brisbane City unlocked. So there are some things that you should be doing if you want to keep your website secure, because if you don't secure it, it's not a question of if you get hacked, it's a question of when you get hacked. And dealing with it on a pretty much a weekly basis, there's an increase in websites being, or WordPress websites being hacked. And part of it is due to the popularity of it. It does drive 20% of websites now, so for a hacker, there's no better challenge than to take down something that powers, a good proportion of the web. That's why a lot of viruses are also written for Microsoft products, because Microsoft is one of the predominant operating systems out there. WordPress is the same, except WordPress probably functions a bit better. Security. Some of you might think, well, really boring. You want to get into theme development and plugins and getting a site humming along, but I can tell you what, a screen like this here will really excite you on your website. So this is a screen from Google which says that they've crawled your site and they've found malicious activity in it. It might be that it's sending, like a site that I dehacked 2 weeks ago, was sending mail out, spam mail out, to grab people's bank account details. And that was coming from a WordPress website. And that was in fact this site here. So problem with a screen like this here is when you get it, one is Google has flagged it. If you think Google's flagged it as malware, what do you think your rankings are going to be like? They drop off instantly. So if you've got good rankings on a website, you get this screen up, Google's found it and flagged it. There have gone your rankings, all the hard work that you've done, and when you dehack the site, now there's a lot of work to get your rankings back up to page 1 again. So this is a good reason not to allow the hackers and malware in there. Some of them will actually announce that they've been onto your site. So someone from China, this is Rich Man, so hacked the site. And here he goes, another one who's happy to, I'm sorry I'm not an admin, so he's got it in some other way. And just look at the top left there. Whose site is this? Obama's forum. So this is real. He got hacked. So they don't care, they'll go after whoever, but obviously a site like this here is obviously fair game and fair target. And the bigger your site is, the more prominent your site is, you are presenting a bigger target. But these days there are automated bots that just roam the net and they're just looking to break into any site that they can. So that's why it's not a question of if you get hacked, it's a question of when you get hacked, because these automated bots will just pick you up at some point and they're in. And just as, to prove that there, I get these emails here. I probably get about 4 or 5 of these a day. Someone tried to hack into my site using the username admin, and they're just trying to guess my password. And so my site's set up to lock them out. After they've tried 10 times to try and get the password for admin to guess it, they just get locked out for the day. But these come through 5 times a day. They're all different. So. And mine's not a big site. Just to give an idea of hacking in WordPress blogs, back in 2008, it was about 81,000, 2012, 170,000, so it's almost doubled over that 4-year time period. I've been working on WordPress now for about 5 years. I solely work on WordPress, know it inside out, and in terms of what's in there. So I can look into a site and I can tell you sort of pretty quickly whether it's been hacked or whether it's got malware in it. So how do they get in? They'll brute force. Some of you might have heard of brute force. All that means is they'll grab a username like admin and then they'll just run a dictionary through and they'll just try all the words in the dictionary. They'll try some common passwords that people use, like password. And would you look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? That's another popular one. Guest is another one. So one of the things that if you're using a word that is a pronounceable word or a word in a language, then you're fair game. So don't use it. They'll also go after plugin vulnerabilities. That's why plugins are updated occasionally, is that there are security issues with it. So they'll go after those. Themes as well. There's backdoors into themes or vulnerabilities there that they can get into. WordPress core. WordPress is releasing updates on security when they discover them and fix them. If you've got an old version of WordPress running, then you're a fair game as well. Contact forms. You'll find that in contact forms and your comment forms, does anyone notice that you get spammers that put links in there? Have you also noticed that not only will they put links in there, but they'll also try and put scripts in there and code in there to function. So if it gets published on your site, it'll run on your site as well, and it'll rip out information and go looking for backdoors just through your comment forms. So it's important to secure both comment forms and contact forms. And also computer malware. Remember, how many people have heard of the botnet attack that happened about 6 months ago with WordPress? Anyone not hear about it? Okay, so what for those that haven't, what the botnet attack did was it used a computer sitting on your desk to attack websites. And so what it looked for were computers that had no username or password to log into it and had weak or no virus protection or firewalls. So while you're asleep, your computer's working, used to hack other people's websites. So again, computer security is important as well. How do they get hacked? Here's just some interesting statistics. Weak passwords, 8%. Plugins, 22% get in that way there. Themes, 29%. But mostly they're coming through poor hosting, so it's hosting that's not that secure, and also malware through your computer. So it's important to keep your computer clean and up to date if you're working on the web. So what I do, my I guess role is, apart from developing websites, is dehack websites. We run security audits on websites, and we run a security process for people, and we also manage and maintain websites on a daily basis so that they're not at risk of being hacked, or certainly it's been minimised. Think about time there. If your website has been hacked, you discover it. How long is it till you discover it? I had one that came through to me 2 days ago. It's been 2 months since they were hacked. They didn't even know it's been hacked. It's been 2 months. Then you think about the time to go in to understand what's happened. There's a day's worth of work in there. Clean it up and restore it. Working out, Googling what you have to do, what's happened, what should be there, what shouldn't be there. Cost. If you're getting someone to do it, then you're up for a minimum of $500 to get it cleaned out, unless you've got a friend that'll do it for you. And you've got a 75% chance that you will recover everything and have it fully functioning again. Usually if you're de-hacking your site, there are going to be some things that are missing and you're going to have to rebuild some things. So, and what's most important is you're going to lose your Google ranking, you're going to lose readers, you're going to lose sales, and everything your website's there for. It's been down for 2 months. That's a lot of time, revenue, ranking that you're losing out on. So I think this was titled something like 5 Simple Steps to WordPress Security. Well, I've got 7, but within those 7 there are 5. So there's about 36 steps here that you need to take to secure your WordPress site. You actually don't have to do them all. You can do about 5 of them, and that's probably good enough to get rid of about 80% of the threats out there. There's about 117 steps that we've got, a checklist that we've got that we can go through to secure sites. So what I'll run through are some of the top 5 ways that I would recommend that you would go through to secure your WordPress website against attack. And they're for different levels of user capability as well. Easiest is obviously through the dashboard, and then looking at what you can do through an FTP access, plugins that you should use, things to use and not to use, what you can do for just maintaining your site and keeping it secure, your computer, and some actions you can take. I may not get through all this tonight, so just let us know when time's up. But I will provide the information for you later on if I don't quite get through it all. There's about 50 odd slides here. So I'm going to go through them really quickly, so right past. So what do you do, or what you do or don't do makes WordPress insecure. WordPress is not an insecure site. It's what you actually do to it or fail to do that makes it insecure. So just installing it straight out of the box, that there is an invitation to being hacked. So through the dashboard, here's some things you can do when you log in. Your table names for WordPress generally have a default, which is WP underscore. So what you want to do is change that, and there are plugins there that will help you to change that. If you're familiar with PHPMyAdmin, you can get it and change it by downloading it, running through a global search and replace, and then re-uploading it again. But if you get a plugin like, can't think of one now, but if you search in the plugin, there'll be something that will tell you. So guessing WP underscore, if you change it to something like RHU1HG64KD87 underscore, that's a lot harder to guess, and if they're trying to sort of crack that there, that's going to take them years to get that. Just incidentally, to crack a password that has got 6 letters in it, no numbers, but just 6 letters, takes about 10 minutes. So something like this here, I read on a blog, takes about 178 years. So probably by that time, you're past this site. With your username, your default is admin. Don't use it. Get rid of it. That's the first way that they'll come into your site, is they'll try and guess your password for admin. And the easiest way to change admin is to create another user in WordPress, give it administrative capabilities, log out, log in with that new user that has been set up as an administrator, then go and delete admin, and then just when you go through deleting admin, it'll give you the option to attribute all of the posts to the new user, attribute that, delete it, and it's gone. So that's your first base level of security. If you do nothing else, do that. Your username, with WordPress you get the option to have a username and also a nice name or a display name. Don't make them the same, because what hackers will do is they'll look at your name, like the name of the person who published the post, and they'll suggest, for me, if it's Nick Cree, they'll look for Nick Cree's published the post. If he hasn't got admin as a username, he's probably got Nick Cree as his username. So then they'll use that, and then they'll try and brute force and guess the passwords for that there. So use some obscure thing as your username, but then for your name that's displayed on the front, then you can have your name. For your password, don't use password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Use something like this here. This is harder to guess, and the key with passwords is to make sure you've got uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters like hash, all those ones that sit above the numbers on your keyboard when you hit Control, Shift and press, those ones. Get rid of the version number out of the head of your website. Again, there are some plugins there that will remove that. Your default installation will tell you what your version number is. Not such an issue if you're running on 3.6, it's the latest version. But if you're running on 2 point something, that's just an open invitation saying, look, I'm running on 2 point whatever, come and get me because there's some security issues in this one here, the back doors. So that's the other thing, is just make sure it's always up to date. Disable remote access to your database. Generally you have to ask your host to do it, and what you're asking your host to do is to only allow access to your database, your MySQL database, by WordPress, so the WordPress installation itself, or through PHP-MyAdmin. So you're not allowing access to the database through the browser. And because you can type the FTP of your site into your browser, it'll come up and ask for your username and password, and again, hackers will try and crack into that as well. But if you remove that access, then that removes that option for them to try and hack into your site. So those are from the dashboard. These are some things you can do by FTP. You've got files and folders sitting in your site. Make sure at the very least that the files, the permissions, if you right-click on the permissions, right-click on the files and the folders, you'll get an option there for your permissions. Make sure your files are set to at least 644 and your folders to 755. I won't tell you why or how, I'm just going to run through it, but if you do that, then you're good. Make sure you've got an blank index.php file in your WP includes folder, WP content folder, your plugins folder, and your uploads folder. What does that do? When people go to try and browse to those folders, it just shows up a big white screen. If you don't have that there, it lists down everything you've got in those directories. So that there is important, so that they don't know what you've got. If they can get to your theme folder and see what theme that you've got in there, then there's a good chance they know that they can hack into it if it's not a very well documented theme, so they can see everything in it. Your config.php file normally sits in the root of your website. Move it up one level. So it normally sits in your public HTML folder. Just move it out of there, just move it up one level. WordPress will find it and it'll look for it, but it removes it from public view for anyone that's looking for that file there. If you've got more than one WordPress installation, this won't work. It'll play havoc with it, but if you've only got one WordPress installation in your cPanel, this works well. Hide your install.php file, and you can either just remove it, but it's going to get put back if you update it to the next version, or you can use an htaccess code in there to protect it so that no one can navigate to it. And the install PHP file is the one that when you first install it, that's when the screen comes up and this is the 5-minute process, and that's where it connects it to the database, and you put your admin name, your username into it. So just hide it. And you probably can't see it, but there's the htaccess code, or to put in the htaccess file. I'll have that on my website. You can go and grab it, and you can just go and put it in. Your salt keys, change your salt keys. All your salt keys are their secret keys for your WordPress installation, and controls the cookies. And when you go to the config.php file, you'll see 4 strings of text, and it'll have a link there to change it. Just navigate to that link. It'll generate new keys for you, copy and paste, and just write over what's in the config.php. It's real easy, the instructions are there. And what that means is that by changing those, anyone that was logged in or had cookies there to just automatically log them in, it forces them all to have to log in again. So they've got to use their username and password to get in. So if anyone's been in there that's malicious, they've got to go through the whole process again. Plugins. Here are some recommended plugins that I think you should have at the very least. Akismet comes standard with your install. Activate it and get your key and put the key in. It's free, it's easy to get, it runs through the instructions, and that there is your spam filter for your comments, and it puts it into spam. WP #cache extended, that looks for bots that are trying to post comments. Install that one. You don't actually have to do anything with it. It uses the Akismet engine as well. WordFence security, if you want to see hackers working on your site in real time, this is a great plugin because it will tell you who's in there, what they're doing, where they're from, and you can lock them out instantly. Plus it does a whole lot of things. If you've had someone that's hacked your website and has changed some files, it'll show you exactly what they've changed so you can go and change it back again. Do a backup get a plugin WordPress backup to Dropbox or some form of backup. Don't use the backup plugins that back up to your WordPress installation. There's no point having your backups sitting in a folder that someone's come to hack. So make sure that you store them externally on. So Amazon S3, Rackspace, Dropbox, but Dropbox is probably the easiest one to set up. Bulletproof security is another one, and that'll set up a whole lot of HT access files in your site, and you can lock that down so you can't get into it, and hackers can't get there either, or you can sort of keep it sort of fairly wide. And really sort of protection of your website is either having it not really locked down, just out of the box, or having it so locked down it's really hard to use. You've just got to choose somewhere in between that's usable for people and also usable for yourself. And with something like this, you can block anyone that's not in Australia out of your site from using admin access. So you just use an IP, just exclude a whole lot of IP addresses, or you can include specific people. Themes. Go to the theme repository in WordPress. They've all been vetted. Because they're in WordPress there, someone's gone and vetted them all. You know that the code is, it doesn't contain malware, bad links, or any of the nasties. Go for some of the good theme frameworks. Things like Genesis, Woo Themes. 2013 is a great theme framework as well if you use a child theme on top of it. But go for the premium ones that you pay for that have got good support. One of the things really to avoid are the free things. Just avoid them. If you really are unsure about getting into the code, don't go there. Go and get them out of the WordPress repository. Because I've de-hacked a number of sites that in the free things that they've downloaded, they looked really good, but there's a whole lot of links there to porn sites and Viagra sites and all sorts of things that they can't see. They've all been sort of obscured, but they're all there, and they wonder why they're not getting any ranking with Google. And if possible, my policy now is I generally only work with child themes. Someone like Genesis or Thesis, or they are a theme framework. And then all you have to do, as Darryl was saying before, is you only have to worry about two files when developing a theme. It's your functions file and your style sheet. Makes it real easy, and it cuts down your development costs, increases your cost profitability, and you've got someone that's supporting the main cuts of the website. And when you're looking for themes, like the child themes, to check whether they're good, have a look and see if they've got active forums, what sort of support they offer. Do they have a good ticket system that are responsive to your questions and giving you good support? Do they have good documentation? So you know what's going on there and a place to ask questions. And then maintenance. I think I'm pretty much out of time now, aren't I, Bruce? So I'm just going to flick through some of these things here. So just jot those down as we go through. One thing I would say, that if you're in a public place, like this place here, when you log into your website, when you leave, log out. Don't just shut your lid, log out. Because a popular way to get into websites and get into your bank accounts, in fact, is just to leave your browser session open. And if they got in there, they've hacked it while you're on a public network, well, you're fair game. So just log out. The other thing to do is to make sure that your computer has, when you open it up, you've got to put in your username and password. And after about 15 or 20 minutes of inactivity, it's asking for that again. So that's just simple security you have on your computer, but it also protects your website as well. Got all that? So the rest of the presentation is available there. So if you want to go to wpsecureprotect.com/BWD, you can download it there. If you've got any questions at all, feel free to just leave us a comment there as well too. I'll grab one in a minute. But yeah, just ask me there. Happy to answer and just sort of contribute to make sure you keep your WordPress website safe for you and your clients. Question?
Do you think one thing that everyone can do to keep themselves as safe as possible after talk is to make sure they update their WordPress plugins, themes, everything as soon as updates come out?
Thank you. That was the slide that we just flicked through. Yeah, update first thing. Yep. No, I always, unlike Gal's sort of probably more cautious than I am, but as soon as the updates are released, I will do the update, particularly WordPress and the parent themes, update them because there's a good reason why they've been released. One is that they've got developers there that have been applying the patches, that have been testing. Occasionally, something might go wrong, but for the main, do it now. The reason why it's been released is there are issues there that need to be addressed. So update it right away. If you strike any problems with it, just give us a call because they're not too hard to fix these things. And they've got a good community anyway, so you'll generally find if you hop onto the WordPress forums and you've got a plugin that's broken or something's broken with an update, pretty quickly there'll be some information about it and some quick fixes to it all. Any other questions? To answer your question about good places to go for WordPress stuff, great guy in Brisbane runs a site called WP Tribe. He's got some great information, and there's also WP Tutes Plus. That's a fantastic resource as well. And who's the one that runs Saeed Balaki? What's his site? Anyone know Saeed Balaki's site?
WP Beginner.
WP Beginner, thanks. Yep. So those three there, if you're starting out in WordPress, even if you're not, they have some fantastic tips. They do some great reviews of plugins and themes, but they've got lots of little tips that you can apply that are simple to use too. Cool, that's me.